draw the line. There it is. We're going to draw a line, and this was created. The general, anytime it goes above that green line, we're going to put it in the savings account. And anytime it drops below the savings account, then we'll take it out and we'll put it back in general revenue. And that way it'll balance it out, like a governor or something on a car. And it worked. It was a great idea. That's how the rainy day fund was created, to help stabilize that volatile fund. As you can see, for the first 12 years, it was up and it was down. I'll show you the actual deposits. That's it. You may not can read all those numbers, but you can see starting in 1988, it was like 25 million, and then it was like 50 million, and one year, next year it would not be anything. And it was up and down like that until we hit the early 2000s. Then oil and gas and fracking began. And from that time on, it has been boom time in Texas until we hit the 2007 recession, but we still had deposits. And it ramped back up. The very light blue that says 2.5 or 2.7, that was an estimate we made some months ago. The real number now, because we look like we're finishing up, is going to be actually up into the red. It's going to be about $3.4 billion. That is an annual deposit put into the rainy day fund. Not how much is in the rainy day fund, and this is where people get confused. The rainy day fund is a silo of cash sitting over here, very, very difficult to spend, and for a good reason. We're talking about the deposit made in November that goes in there. What happens is we begin having conversations about what is conservative and what is not conservative and what is core function. And basically, we were building up about $12 billion of cash in the rainy day fund, while at the same time we were borrowing $23 billion. We're getting a less than 1% interest on that that's in the silo, and we're paying about 3.5% or 4% interest over here. At the same time, we did not have the money for core function like the roads. So I'm going to show you the next chart. Let me show you how this pieces together. As dollars go up, that's up and down, and left and right is a percent. So I told you the school is 25%. Whatever that money is that severance tax brings in, 25% goes to the schools. No one's suggested touching that. Once the light blue, where it says general revenue, 1.1 billion goes to general revenue, and everything above that is the deposit. Not the rainy day fund, but the deposit to the rainy day fund. And so the deposit was, what Proposition 1 does is it says the numbers we are putting into the rainy day fund are so much greater than anybody ever conceived of, while at the same time we're short in core function. All we're asking for is to split that. Take that deposit, split it, put half of it into the transportation fund specifically for non-tow roads and bridges of the state. And it also says for the maintenance of those roads, for right-of-way and engineering of those roads. But it is it's restricted to that. We also take the other half and put it in the rainy day fund. So whereas we're sitting here with about $8.5 billion in the rainy day fund right now, we're saying if you do Proposition 1, we're still going to put $1.7 billion in the rainy day fund this year and probably next year. But we're also going to put $1.7 billion in core function of the state, like the roads. Go ahead and go to the next one. So generally, that's one on the ballot. It has an immediate effect. If it passes in November, the comptroller will deposit 1.7 in the rainy day fund and 1.7 in the transportation. Estimate 1.7. It does not take money out of the rainy day fund. That's the one thing I continue to see people make that mistake. It does not solve the entire transportation problem of the state. I told you we have a problem that's about $4 to $5 billion. This gets us a big step there. We had people who said, well, it doesn't solve the whole problem, so I may vote against it. And we said, well, you'll never solve the problem. There's too big of a bullet. You can't find that. So we finally agreed that we're going to take that step. I've had some people say they didn't think that was conservative because it takes part of the deposit. And it was very interesting debates. We had some Tea Party groups endorsed it. We had some Tea Party groups voted against it. We had Democrats vote for it, and we had Democrats vote against it for opposite reasons. The rainy day fund, like I said, is a silo, and when it fills up, which it almost did, it spills over and it goes to the general revenue, then it's real easy to spend it. And the Democrats that voted no because they want it to fill up because it will spill over. And they want to spend that money on something. And some of the other ones that voted no on the other end, I don't think they really understood the bill, but I may be wrong. You know, I'm not going to speak for them. I just don't know why. But I know they're very conservative and they voted against it. So we had opposite people on opposite ends for different reasons. And so I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Austin. Before I do, let me say, where'd Glenn Hager's guy go? Representative Glenn Hager's office was here a while ago from the comptroller. I strongly support Hager for comptroller. I served with him for 8 years in the Senate and worked with him for a number of years while he was in the House. So I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Austin.